Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm just a Nintendo fan, and today we have some more news about the Naruto live action movie. Well, I wouldn't exactly call it news, more like just, little details about what the director, Destin Daniel Cretton, who's directing the Naruto live action film, we got a little glimpse of to what could be his process for working on this movie and for how to tackle Naruto's character. Before we dive into it, though, I do just want to set a quick reminder that at the time of recording, I am hoping to live stream my first look at Splatoon Raiders when it comes out on Thursday. Not a guarantee, obviously, but, I did pre-order the game, so I am getting it on Thursday. But I am hoping to have the time to live stream my first look at the game, so you guys can see, how it starts and stuff, so you guys can also make the decision of whether you want to spend money on it or not. So hopefully that will be happening on Thursday. It will at least be happening during the launch week or weekend, whenever I get the time to do it. But yeah, just stay tuned for that. So yesterday, at the time of recording, Destin Daniel Creighton had a interview with the Rolling Stone, and so a lot of these quotes are are highlights that a lot of Twitter accounts that discuss film news and stuff that they highlighted the important quotes. So I'm gonna put a screenshot of the two tweets I'm going to be referencing here. And the first one is going to be from Discussing Film. And so it says, Destin Daniel Creighton explains they are going to explore Naruto's emotional journey in the live-action Naruto movie. Naruto's trajectory, his feelings of being an outsider, the feeling of having an ugliness or a monster or some part of you that you're ashamed of, and then coming to realize that's the part that makes you unique, that gives you your power. And then we have another tweet with more highlighted quotes, and this comes from the Anime Updates account. Naruto live-action director Destin Daniel Creighton says he has always felt very connected to Naruto. When I met Kishimoto-san, the creator, it just amplified that feeling of connection. He said Naruto's journey of embracing some part of you that you're ashamed of and realizing that's the part that makes you unique, that gives you your power, is a story that feels very close to me. So, what do these tweets mean? You might be wondering, okay, well, why are you looking at these tweets? I feel like this gives us a good glimpse that Destin is really going to try to be focusing on not just trying to recreate the hypest moments in the Naruto series, because I feel like that's a very easy mindset to get into, right? If you're directing the live action Naruto, you're like, ooh, okay, let's recreate Rock Lee versus Gaara, yeah, that'd be really hype. Naruto versus Sasuke, gonna be extremely hype. You know, because Destin's trying to take a step back and is trying to be like, okay, what made us love the Rock Lee versus Gaara fight, the Naruto versus Sasuke fight, the Naruto versus Pain fight? It's because we fell in love with these characters. It's because we developed a connection to these characters, and that connection helped us want to root for them, and it helped us want to help them back up when they failed. It's so important to create a connection for these characters before you even try to, do any hype moments, do any action. And it seems Destin kind of understands this and is trying to take a step back and is trying to focus on a more grounded story for Naruto. And is trying to focus on how to, show us his character, right? And I think that's a great story. I think that's an amazing glimpse into his process. I think it gives a lot of fans hope that this live action adaptation can be great. Nothing will touch the original, obviously, but with how Destin is handling Brand New Day, it's like Spider-Man Brand New Day, it seems really promising because, like, in a lot of interviews I've been watching with, like, Tom Holland, John Bolton, they all have, like, they talk highly of Destin. If I could find a clip, I'll try to insert
that now to highlight Destin, who is one of my favorite filmmakers out there. I love his body of work so much. I also love the fact that the two of you have played these characters for quite a few different directors over the years, but each new director can probably bring their unique eye and voice to them in a different way. So what is something you were able to accomplish with these characters only because this time you are playing them in a Destin-directed movie?
Oh man, I can't say enough good about him. I think it's just he sets a tone. There's just a tone of collaboration, of kindness, of all ideas aren't just welcome, but they're demanded. You're demanded to bring your own sort of sense of creativity to it. There's such a patience with him, which, I can only imagine being at the helm of such an enormous project. I would imagine that comes with its own stress and its own anxiety and its own need to really deliver. And it was staggering to me how he met that with such confidence, such patience, such openness to sort of slowing things down and welcoming conversation and welcoming exploration and going off on a path that might not necessarily be used, but it will definitely be of service for what we're ultimately trying to do. So I was really blown away by him, not just as a director, but as a human being. And really was thrilled to have worked with him, honored to call him a friend.
But yeah, like, they speak super highly of him, and like they mention like how he wants creative ideas. He wants to listen to other people's ideas and try to implement them. And so Destin's not the type of guy that I imagine to like just completely want to like not listen to Kishimoto. I feel like he's gonna really want to listen to Kishimoto. He knows that Kishimoto knows these characters inside and out, and Destin's gonna want to hear those ideas from Kishimoto. He's gonna want to take him seriously because, again, he is the original creator, and so Destin's gonna want to lean heavily into that, lean into some of his ideas. And who knows, maybe Destin is gonna bring some of his own ideas, his own creative spins, right? Like I mentioned in my last video, about when we got the cast descriptions, like, I hope Destin looks at the female characters in Naruto, for example, like Sakura specifically, and it's like, okay, let's see what can we do to have, to make Sakura like more prominent here. Like, what can we have? What more can we do for Sakura in terms of character? And so, I don't foresee a situation happening like the Netflix Avatar live action, where the original creators of Avatar were involved in the Netflix live action at first, but then they ended up leaving due to creative differences. And you can see very well, like, especially in like the second season, why they left. And so I don't foresee a situation happening like that. I feel like Destin's not the type of person to, just push Kishimoto away, and it's like, no, actually, that idea is not really good, let's do that. I feel he's gonna want to lean into Kishimoto's suggestions, ideas. He's gonna want to lean into that, and he's probably gonna want to implement them. He just seems like the type of person to really want to do that, and he seems like the type of person who's going to value Kishimoto's input, his suggestions, his ideas. And Kishimoto himself seems very, very excited. I mean, he had quotes being like, I can't believe my story's going to be in live action. Oh my gosh. Like, he seems very excited. I love seeing him like that. I love seeing him happy like that. And again, just Destin seems to be a really great director all around who values ideas from others and wants to implement them as best he can. And yeah, I'm not going to say the movie's going to be great or anything. I feel like it's too early for that still, especially since we don't know who's playing Naruto, Sakura, or Sasuke, because I think that casting process is still going on. We don't even have like a story details of what they're going to be covering, if they're going to be covering part 1, if they're going to jump into Shippuden, if they're going to do their own thing. We don't know any of that yet. So I think it's too early to tell. But in terms of character, as long as they can stay true to the characters stay true to Naruto's character, Sasuke, Sakura. I think we're in good hands. In terms of characters, I think we might be in good hands, because Destin, again, seems to be the type of person who wants to, stay true to the original work, stay true to the original characters, and he's going to value Kishimoto's input, ideas, suggestions, all of that. But what do you guys think of these quotes from Destin on the Naruto live-action movie? Does this give you a sense of hope for the live-action movie? Are you still kind of scared for the live-action movie? Are you going to see it when it comes out in theaters? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And as always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next video.